the question I would have for a friend like this is, is it possible that your desires are not really a good guide for you right now? Is that possible? And I would start there. Is it possible? And if your desires are not, just be hypothetical with them. If your desires are not a good guide for you on the kind of life you should seek, are you open to turning from it, to resisting those desires and honoring God in not engaging in that stuff? And maybe one follow-up question is like, can the Bible correct you on this issue? If the Bible does in fact teach you that it's wrong, will you submit? This is a big hypothetical, because this isn't even about like, logically, is this realistic? But this is about willingness. Are you, in your will, in your heart, if the Bible tells you that what you're doing is wrong, are you willing to turn from that thing? And if the answer to that question is no, then I'm sorry, Christine. I don't know where else to go, because preaching or talking or explaining, I don't think it matters anymore. Progressive Christianity is a Band-Aid on top of the intentional rebellion of the heart in that case. So, talking about, oh, but this verse in context doesn't matter, because I'm not willing to follow God on this issue if he's not going to lead me where I feel like I want to go. So those are some of the things. Now, if there is that willingness, if there is like a, yes, I'm willing, then you target issues one at a time, patiently, thoughtfully. You're going to be doing some research of your own. You're going to find out his teachers, start writing down the points that they're making, start bringing up refutations that you think are helpful, and maybe point them to maybe some of my videos. I deal with a lot of progressive Christian slogans and stuff like that, and I hope that you find those things helpful. Kai Marana says,
if the Bible was telling you to do something, would you do it? Were you willing? And if they say no, I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can do. Oh, they're talking about accepting gay people. I'm sorry. I thought he was talking about the resting on the Sabbath or something. It's interesting that marriage and the Sabbath were established as creation ordinances for humans. I think you should be very careful with the gay issue. But it is sin. Although it's interesting to ask what about it is, which is it, the act or the desire, or both, or neither? Seems that the act is. But I mean, if you don't think it's a continuation of the old covenant rules because it's the same God, and like maybe not being gay was ceremonial or something, and what Paul's talking about, a case can be made that it was like idol worship of other god practices of other temples. I mean, if I think people got to be really careful here, because I don't want to use this in a bad way, but I would say that if you have excuses for not keeping the Sabbath, for you're going to have a heck of a time making a case to not accept gay people as members of your church. And that's a difficult issue as is. If you're going to say, well, no, I let them in so long as they're saying that's sin. Well, excuse me, sir. How do you define sin again? Whatever Paul said, whatever I think Paul said, not Jesus, on the new covenant, on the grace. I don't have to clean up my act, and that's true, you don't. But you can't actively stand in rebellion to God. Rebellion to God about what? Not believing on the Son? That's all we have to do now is believe on the Son. We don't have to keep his law, you Pharisee, except where the gay people are gross. So I'm gonna I'm going to not like that. I'm not going to give them the same privileges I give me when I'm arguing with you, calling us to God's law. I'm going to use God's law where I feel like it. Thank you very much. Because I'm saved. You're not. Because I'm under grace. Unless I'm gay. Jesus wept.